It is your boy, Toon Boone. Welcome back to another episode of Tuned In Podcast. It is good to see you guys, and hopefully the feeling is reciprocal. Well, shit has been wild out there this past week. Man, just crazy. There is so much stuff happening. Um, Good, bad, ugly, disgusting. There's some good in there, but it's a lot of fucked up shit. Um, so yeah, let's get into some of it. All right. So, former director of the FBI, James Comey, Mister what was it, 87 or what was it, 8647 with the fucking seashells in the beach. Oh, I didn't know that's what that meant, ass motherfucker. Okay. Um, that's crazy that you're gonna claim that. Former director of the FBI. You don't know what 86 means. The 86 somebody. That's crazy. Well, looks like his whole life has been 86. Not literally, but which is fortunate. We don't condone violence and death of any man, other than if monsters. But he's a piece of shit. But I don't think he's a monster. But anyways, yes, James Comey has been indicted. Oh my God, he has been indicted, and yeah, I think his ass is gonna be seeing some prison soon. There, it's gonna be a beautiful day when they lock his ass up. Yep. So he's going to have to testify, probably in front of Congress, or possibly even have to go to court and testify in front of judges and whoever else. And I think he's probably being charged on the whole Russiagate collusion hoax thing, and probably some other charges they're gonna throw in there. Who knows? I know that we're literally, I think, maybe one day away till the statute of limitations on some of these charges, which is crazy, man. We've had Republicans majority for 2 years now, and they just haven't seemed to do much of anything. It's like not surprising, as much as I'd rather a Republican be in office and running the show, especially one like Trump, not a rhino. We don't want no fucking rhinos in office, but a Trump Republican. If we had a whole Senate and a whole congressional fucking auditorium filled of nothing but Trump Republicans, man, this country would be unstoppable. We'd get shit done. They sit here for years and don't do nothing, like promising indictments and prosecutions over criminals and people that deserve to be prosecuted and indicted and put in jail. Even some of their own, even people that they would consider enemies. And yeah, what do? They just sit on their fucking thumbs and do not fucking shit. So it's nice to see that he's being indicted. I know he's probably fucking been probably crying about it, and he's probably terrified of what's gonna come out. I mean, speaking of FBI and things coming out, I know we just brought up January 6th last show. That's crazy. That is crazy coincidence. You know why? Because now they're literally not just admitting, but showing the evidence of, what was it? Let me check it real. I think it was 264, 261 FBI agents that was dressed as civilians in the January 6th crowd. Yeah. Yep. It was proven. And let's check out a report on that, shall we?
Capitol once the violence started there and the riot began. We got that answer because they did an after action report at the FBI. Kash Patel recently found that after action report, and it is damning.
Action
There were
report. Yes, it is.
275 FBI
Oh,
agents, most in plain
275.
clothes,
I was off.
without any riot gear or protection, dispatched to the Capitol that day. The reason there was an after action review is that a lot of those agents felt like they were put in harm's way. They didn't have gear. They didn't have a way to identify themselves to the Capitol Police that they were cops. If they had to draw their gun, they could have had a friendly fire incident. And so that's an important fact. It's something that Congress needed for oversight, and Chris Wray's FBI kept it from it. But the more important issue, long term, to all my colleagues in the FBI who have tried to dispute that the FBI has a political bias problem, this episode, this review, ended up exposing more than the fact that an incompetent FBI sent a lot of FBI agents to the Hill without gear and protections, and then didn't want to admit that to Congress. It uncorked a decade of frustration among scores of FBI agents in the Washington field office that their agency had become clearly politically biased. Those aren't my words. Those are their words. He would
The agency politically biased.
tell how many agents were sent to the Capitol once the violence.
Literally, just pause. Sorry about that. I'm new. No, not really. But yeah, as you see, and 274 it says, but 274, 275 undercover FBI agents in the crowd of January 6th. Why were they there? Is it like I said, they were colluding and coercing civilians into rioting and trying to forcefully enter into the Capitol, causing the whole riot, causing the whole, the entire event, or okay, whatever you want to call it, that take place. The whole thing was a government cover up, a scandal. Like, they planned the whole thing. Like I already said, yes, just the other day, and I've said for years, and other people have been saying this, and now they have the evidence. I mean, fuck, dude, that's crazy. Like, you guys have nothing on us, nothing. The amount of violence that happens on the right is almost non-existent in comparison to the fucking left. And the thing that you guys love to shove in our face is January 6th. And as I just said, it was all a hoax. It was all fucking created and literally birthed by the government, the federal government, controlled by the Democrats. They're the ones who did this, okay? They had 274 undercover agents in the crowd, coercing people. Said, "Yeah, we should break in. We should get in there. We should start acting like we have no goddamn sense." Trying to create chaos, trying to create a story, trying to create a gotcha moment, so they can try to indict Trump and say, "Oh, you were inciting violence." Oh, and what's the other one? Do you wanted to try to overthrow the government? You can't overthrow the government. You're the president of. That's, for one, you fucking morons. But neither here nor there, right? They're like, oh, they're trying to stop the election. The election that took, what, weeks to fucking figure out who won? That's crazy. I mean, they had plenty of time to stop it if they really wanted to. I mean, I think a lot of people handled it pretty well, being the fact that they truly believed that their election and their country itself was being stolen and rigged against them. I mean, I believe it was. Millions of other people believe it was. And, you know, hopefully it's not too long before we have actual evidence of that. And other news. These crazy bitches out here. All you crazy, ignorant ass women heard our president, Donald J. Trump, that fantastic president that we have, right? He goes on the news and he's telling everybody, be careful taking Tylenol, or you shouldn't be taking it if you're pregnant or giving it to your child, because they found that it have some type of correlation with autism, right? It's done. It's not Trump that is claiming this, right? It's not Trump that's claiming it. It's scientists and doctors who are doing the studies that are claiming this. They're the ones that found the evidence. Trump is just relaying the message to the American people, and because he's the one relaying it, you fucking idiots are out here just like in spite of him, are out here videotaping yourself taking an abundance of Tylenol while you're pregnant. Even grown-ass men, lunatic-ass men are on here videotaping themselves taking a handful of Tylenol, like to disprove Trump or to prove a point, and then sitting there say, I'll leave it up to the medical experts. The medical experts are the ones who are claiming this. Man, it must suck to be that fucking deranged that you're willing to put your own child at risk just to disprove Trump wrong. I mean, God forbid any of your kids do have autism. I mean, but, you know, they say it's 1 in 12, and there's definitely more than 12 of you psychotic bitches out here posting these videos on the internet. So, you know, a couple of your kids are definitely going to have autism, if not all of them, the way you're popping it now. Like, oh, yeah, I'll show Trump. You're not showing Trump any fucking thing. It doesn't affect him or harm him. It affects your baby. It harms your baby. It's could cause your baby to have autism. But you seem to not give a flying fuck because Trump's the one telling you this. If Kamala Harris fucking went and told you this, you'd be like, oh my God, Kamala Harris is the best vice president or best president ever. She literally helped discover fucking a connection to autism through Tylenol and saved potentially millions of children from getting it. Yeah, that's exactly what you fucking... whatever you would like to be called today. Yeah, that's exactly what you fucking idiots would say. That's what I believe. That's what I believe 100%. I think you're a bunch of morons. I think you're ignorant as fuck. And I feel bad for your children having to be raised by you. You know? Like I said, God forbid they have any medical issues. But it doesn't matter to you, because if Trump says, hey, don't do heroin when you're pregnant, it could fucking, you know, kill your baby, I guarantee you hoes would be shooting up dope the next damn day right on TikTok. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure plenty of other people wouldn't either. The level of stupidity that comes from the left, I'm just no longer surprised by it. I mean, you guys are just fucking morons. My girl's staring at me. Hello. Oh, thank you. All right, I love you too. Have fun. So anyway, stop taking Tylenol if you give two flying fucks about your kids. That'd be the first thing. Step 2, I would say actually stop watching CNN and MSNBC. Maybe see a psychiatrist or a therapist about that TDS you have, because man, it's showing heavy right now. It is showing heavy. Yeah. You guys, just every time you tried to, you think you're outsmarting Trump or any conservative or Republican for that matter, you only prove, or you only seem to prove how stupid you actually are. And it's crazy. Because I could sit here and I could claim facts without showing you anything, or I could make up my own facts and I could create and Photoshop my own evidence, type up my own articles if I really wanted to, claiming literally anything as long as it's going against what Trump says. And you guys would believe it. You'd eat it up, and then you'd start spreading it around without actually doing any research of your own, because you're a bunch of lazy retards. You know, sorry, not sorry. But anyways, like I said, I'm sorry for all the kids that have to grow up with parents like you. It's a damn shame. Thank the Lord that I didn't have such an ignorant ass mom like you have. And yeah. So, in other news, something even scarier is happening than a bunch of libtard-ass women trying to overdose on Tylenol and potentially tismify their children. I've just made that word up. I coined that, tismify. The president, our ambassador, or whoever the fuck it is in their position, I'm not really sure how the UK seems to work, but I'm pretty sure he's like the prime minister of the UK. He goes on TV, I think just yesterday, and announces that by the end of Parliament, every citizen in the UK will be required to have a digital ID in order to buy or sell anything in the UK. That is crazy. That is very scary. That is very, very scary. Yeah, very scary. Sounds like end of the world revelations type stuff to me. Sounds like the mark of the beast type stuff to me. I remember hearing stuff about this when I was a kid, and it terrified me. And you know, I believed it could happen, but I also, you know, as I got older, was like, no, I think it's a lot of fear mongering and stuff like that. But just these last few years, man, you had that, what was it, government digital currency they wanted for everybody to go by. Thank the Lord Trump won, or that probably would have already been initiated, at least by the end of Kamala fucking scare us is presidential candidacy, right? Or presidential occupancy, I guess you could say, right? Where they control everything that you do and spend. All the money in the country would have to be would be null and void, other than their digital currency, where they can control how much you can make, how long you can keep your money, right? If you're trying to save your money to buy a house or certain things just try to come up in the world, they're like, well, you got till this time to spend it or we're gonna erase it. What the fuck? And then they can tell you what you can buy, when you can buy it, how you can buy it. Oh, it looks like you've had more than 2 pizzas this week. No more fucking pizza for you, or no more fast food at all, at least for the next week or month or however long, right? Boom. You said some shit on Facebook or the internet or Twitter or however that they didn't like, they didn't agree with, but questioning their authority. Boom, your money is cut off. You can't feed your kids. You can't pay your rent. You can't put gas in your car. You can't do anything without their permission, and they cut you off because you spoke up against them. or you just said you didn't like fucking Palestine, or that women can't be men and men can't be women. You could just say something simple as that, and they would cut your shit off, you know. Um, so yeah, the UK, they're doing something very similar. It's exactly what they do in China. Um, you know, I watched a video, and I'm gonna show you a video here in a second, and they were showing this video I'm about to play to people from China. Um, I think they were a lot. They were in the UK though, but they were a lot of like Asian uh, descended people from China, and they're like, "Oh, I'm fine with that. That's how it was in China." I mean, they had no concerns. They were like, they think it's necessary, you know, where they literally would have cameras and monitors everywhere you go. Um, you would have a, what do you call it, like a civilian credit score, I guess it would be. It's so your popularity with the government would determine your credit score, right? Your social credit score. That's what it is, social credit score. My bad. So your social credit score, right, would be determined by how much the government liked you, based off of your work ethic, your background, history, things of that, what you post on the internet, right? And if you have a very low social score, well, you know, you can't eat at certain restaurants. You can't even take taxis at some point, right? They'll be like, you got to have at least a 600 credit score just to even ride in a cab, or just to eat at certain restaurants. You'll have have a higher social credit score, right? Oh, well, you want a bank account, you're going to need this high of a credit score. So you can't even open a bank account, can't get a loan, can't save your money, things of that nature. It's all complete, total control, right? And they just said everybody will have to have one, however, whatever that even means. I'm not sure if that means it's some type of something that goes in their phone, if that goes into their physical being, which is what it's going to sound like to me, one of them RFID chips. I think that's probably what it's going to be, right? They have some type of chip that's going to have your information on it, keep track of you, all of those things, allow you to pay for all your stuff, you know? And like it's the same thing with the government currency, cryptocurrency shit. They shut your shit off when you're not obeying them, or you have too low of a social credit score. Boom, you're done for. Yeah. It's scary. We're gonna watch this video real quick, and you guys can tell me what you think.
Keir Starmer addressing the United Kingdom public, saying a digital ID will be required to work in his country.
The truth is, and that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that. Because decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people, they want us to tackle the issues that they see around them. And of course, the truth is, we won't solve our problems. And that is why today...
Oh man, I just get chills. I mean, that is straight up revelation. The mark of the beast, Revelation 13, verses 16 and 17. And here's an interesting anecdote. We got a lot to cover in this segment. But President Trump said something interesting today.
Oh, yeah. This is interesting. So as you see, he said you won't be able to work in the UK without this digital ID. They're claiming, oh, it's for safety, and they just want to keep track of people. They can't keep you safe if they don't know where you are, where the criminals are, and what you're doing at all times, right? So you're pretty much trading your privacy and your freedom for your safety. I don't need you to make me feel safe. That's what the Second Amendment is for. Come into my house. I have plenty of guns, lock and loaded, on my wall right now. Okay, I got a plethora of pistols. Okay, pistolas. In my safe, I usually keep one on my person. Okay, I'm not too worried about it. You better move pretty fucking fast if you're gonna try to make a move upon me and the millions of other like-minded men and women in this country. Because I don't need you to make me feel safe. I feel safe because I have a Second Amendment. So, anyways, there's a comment here. Let's see. It says the Bible says there will be a 7-year tribulation that starts with a peace deal. Okay? The Bible says it will be a 3.5 year of temporary false peace, which then will lead to the sudden destruction and the great tribulation and the mark of the beast, right? And this is when it will all start coming together, okay? All right, now listen to
Beast. Now, check this out.
It's going to be. Hello, Peter. And it's looking like we have a deal on Gaza, and we'll let you know.
Mr. President.
I think it's a deal that will get the hostages back. It's going to be a deal that will end the war. It's going to be a deal with. It's going to be peace. I think we have a deal. That'll be number 8, Peter. Not 10. Hello.
Now,
So, Trump is saying they think they have a deal with Gaza. You know, they're going to be able to put an end to the war between Palestine and Israel. They think they have a deal that could be made. Who knows how long it might be. This video continues going on saying, you know, this could be some type of 7-year peace deal. Who knows, right? And we hope that, and not saying that we, you know, like, we don't want some type of peace deal, but they're just trying to connect dots, right? They're trying to claim, if Trump is able to create this peace deal, this treaty with these two nations, or obviously a faction and a nation, if they're able to keep that and they bring a 7-year peace deal, that Trump essentially is the Antichrist. I don't believe that one bit. I don't believe God would have saved this man's life if he's the Antichrist. For one, I think that you can feel the presence of the Lord and actually see God using Trump to his will. I don't believe somebody that's been brought the presence of God and Jesus back into the White House and back into this nation. They start their cabinet meetings every time with prayer and end it in prayer. Okay? They've brought Christ back into the White House. Okay? We just had Joe Biden where they literally tried to erase Easter, the day we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the entire reason for the religion in the first place. The belief in Jesus is because that he was able to even defeat death. Right? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they wanted to erase it and make it Visional Day or whatever the fuck it was, right? I can't even remember. Awareness, or I couldn't tell you what it was. Some bullshit. A Day of Visibility. That's what. Trans Day of Visibility. Some horse shit they had to pull out their ass. Oh, man, we know they had a whole PR team working on that fucking beautiful name, right? They try to erase the resurrection of our Lord and Savior and replace it with Trans Visibility Day? Okay. Kamala Harris was campaigning at one of her very shitty rallies, her mostly paid for audience rallies, and a gentleman yells from the crowd, Jesus is Lord or Jesus is King, one of those, And instead of Kamala doing what a typical politician or anybody in that I think would have Jesus in their heart and typically on the right side of things, you would believe like they would say, yes, Jesus is King, right? But that's what J.D. Vance did. A person shouted that at one of his speeches, at one of his rallies, right? And he said, you're right, Jesus is King. King of Kings, Lord of Lords, right? That is what he is. And you know what, Kamala Harris, I was sure hoping that she was going to say something similar. But no, you know what she said is, you're at the wrong rally. You need to go to the smaller one down the street. So they told us who they are, right? She ain't for God. She just straight up publicly denounced God in front of everybody. Denounced Jesus as King in front of the entire nation. And you believe that they're on the side of righteousness, or they're on the side of holiness, or God would be working through them? I don't believe so. And I believe that they try to execute Trump because they're evil and they were scared he was going to take away their power and was going to expose them in their corruption and their demonic ways. So they tried to kill him, and God intervened. He came down and said, all right, and turned that man's head a split second before he was about to lose his head and just get nicked in the ear. Wow, that was crazy on national TV, right? And they had to have known it was going to happen, right? And knew it was set up. Why would that not be secure? Why would they just let this kid wander into there, right? All the news people that would never normally be there, oh man, they just all happen to want to show up that day and be at that rally for whatever reason, right? All those broadcasters and all the news anchors and stuff, they ain't usually they don't usually attend those things. They were there. They all wanted their own personal cut and take of Trump's assassination, because they got word was out, something big's gonna happen. You need to be there, right? Something big did happen. It started opening up our eyes to the evil and the corruption of the left. You know, a lot of friends of mine and even people I look up to, they just used to not claim, but they truly believed that the left was just naive and misguided, right? Being led down the wrong path, and they could be saved, or they could be redeemed. And it wasn't until that moment where they realized that no, they're psychopaths. They've sold their souls. They're 100% down with the devil and his plan. So, no, I don't believe Trump would have been saved by the Lord if he was the Antichrist. That's just my take. They claim the Antichrist is from England. An Englishman is what they, based off of their Bible and people who study these type of things, they believe that it's Prince Charles. Yeah, Prince Charles. That's who they claim. A lot of people seem to believe is the Antichrist is Prince Charles. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Let's see.
That deal, and let's just say it's a 7-year treaty between Hamas and Israel.
Look at this.
That would technically make him the Antichrist. But the Antichrist rises out of Europe.
Oh, he does.
So that doesn't necessarily line up. But who are the other players involved in those peace negotiations? Where does King Charles fall into this?
Oh, King Charles.
Well, this new digital ID, the United
French.
Kingdom,
He's
that's
king.
where King Charles
My bad.
holds court over, right? Now, I've covered this before, and if you haven't been paying attention, this is the Prince Charles coat of arms. Prince Charles coat of arms, the Antichrist, and Revelation chapter 13. Now, there's a great book. I've talked about it here before. It's called The Antichrist in a Cup of Tea. It lays out the entire case that Prince Charles is the Antichrist. And this is his coat of arms. Prince Charles' coat of arms contains all of the biblical symbols of the Antichrist and the dragon. Now, Red Pill Drifter says, I'm not saying he's the Antichrist, but this is without a doubt who they are trying to usher in, and they will want it ASAP. He says, before you read Revelation chapter 13 below, keep in mind that when it refers to the beast, it's speaking of the Antichrist. When it refers to the dragon, it's speaking of Lucifer, Satan, the great dragon of Revelation 12:9. The same with the greater beast that speaks as a dragon, Satan, or Lucifer. Now, I'm not going to go into the full breakdown of this. What I would encourage you to do is just find the book, The Antichrist in a Cup of Tea. I think the PDF's available. Tim Cohen.
Yeah, so. And that's enough of that. So, yeah, King Charles, they want him to, pretty much take over reign of Europe. And they think he's going to usher in this, new world order, at least try to start it over there, right? He's going to help usher this peace deal, this false peace deal, which could, last for 3.5 years, and then it could go bad. Something going to happen. My guess is that they're going to do, I don't know, like if there's a term for it, but they're going to they're going to create a false sense of, like, revenge, I guess. I'm not sure how I would say it exactly. Let me explain how, in detail of the action, right? They're a third party. They say, oh, these two they've been at war. They're at each other's necks. Hostility's hot. Things been good. Blah blah blah. Now we're gonna send some guys that are gonna pretend to be a part of this faction, and we're gonna send some guys that, and they're gonna pretend that they're part of this nation, right? Israel and Palestine. Boom. These people are gonna commit some type of atrocity or try to start off the war again by bombing or killing some type of Israelis, city or their people or whatever, right? Same thing. These people they're going to infiltrate Israel, and not even infiltrate, however, but they're going to pretend to be Israeli. They're going to attack Palestine, make the Palestinians believe it was Israeli, and the Israelis are going to believe that it was the Palestinians that attacked each other, right? Starting the whole damn thing over again, becoming worse than it ever was. Other nations may get involved some way or another, right? By maybe those same type of tactics. Try to be like, oh, UK is involved, or Europe. Oh, Russia was involved. China was involved. Next thing you know, it's an all-out fucking war on the world. World War III. It breaks out. And guess who won't be president after this time? Donald Trump, the peacemaking president. You know what I mean? Hopefully he won't be dead. Hopefully he'll still be around, and hopefully he'll still be willing to help negotiate peace terms, with these nations and prevent this. I think that the end of the world isn't a guaranteed thing. I believe that that the Bible, it is obviously, I believe in the Bible. I believe that everything in the Bible is very possible, but I don't know if there's information taken out of the Bible, man. There's things that and information out there, right, that over hundreds of years and thousands of years have been taken out, stuff replaced with others or misinterpreted. And so yeah, there's things in there that we don't know. Like, yeah, we're trying our best to predict what's going to happen based off the information we do have, but a lot of the information is skewed or a lot of information is missing. And I believe even like that with the presidency of Trump and the presidency of Trump in general, right? Like I said the last show, I think he was a unexpected variable. The only person that could have expected this was God. God knew, look, one way, either one thing or another's going to happen. You know, he said either World War III is going to happen, the world's going to end, as it's predicted in the Bible, or I'm going to pick this man and try to use him to help bring peace to the world and help prevent it, or at least prolong it for, who knows, a long time, I hope, you know. Hopefully, if some type of war like that happens, I hope it's not in my lifetime. Unfortunately, I hope it's not in my kids' lifetimes either, but I don't know if it's going to hold off that long if we can't expunge the massive corruption and evil that's taken over not just our country, but the world in general. You know, America, we're like the last stronghold, man. They got all these nations like Europe, man. Europe been around a long time, way longer than us. All right? Two great nations, like you wouldn't expect Europe to fall to this biblically demonic regime and agenda, right? It's like, man, you guys, like, the Catholic religion started over that way, man. Y'all motherfuckers don't read the Bible. Like, yeah, we're not gonna do that. How about no, sir? Like, we're gonna stand up and revolt against the fucking monarchy, right? If or the what do you call it? I think that's what it's called. Either way, right? We're gonna revolt against the power of the king and queen and all those motherfuckers, the royal family, and we kill these motherfuckers if we got to. There's way more of us than them. Gonna let these motherfuckers just sit there and say, yeah, we're just enslaving you all, essentially. And you're just gonna sit there and let it happen? Nah. Come on, man. Fucking happened to the men in this fucking world. We had literally a whole ass revolutionary war over a 3% tax on tea. The fuck? You gonna let these motherfuckers just enslave and control and take away your freedom? And you just gonna sit back and let it happen? It ain't happening here. I tell you damn straight. That's why these motherfuckers don't let them have guns all over there and shit. These motherfuckers just be stabbing everybody, yeah, like a fucking one of those damn Japanese shows and Korean shows and shit. You see all the gangsters, all these motherfuckers pull out with his fucking knives and machetes. Very few, seldomly do you see these motherfuckers have a gun, even on the show. Because guns are extremely hard to come by there and extremely illegal. Here, they're not that hard to come by. Even dirty ones. It really isn't. But it's really not hard to get a legal gun. You ain't a felon. Shit, you could go get a fucking gun. It'll take you less than an hour. Go get a fucking gun. You can go there, boop, do the paperwork, wait 10, 20 minutes. They're like, oh, here you go. Here's your gun. You're fucking good. Like, And we talking about hundreds of millions of Americans with multiple guns, and some of them have more than just guns. They got some crazy shit out here. So, that's unfortunate for Europe, man. I sure hope that and I know for man, I see these motherfuckers protest and protest their government a lot over there and like Australia and shit like that, man. They don't fuck around, dude. They protest way more than conservatives and people do over here. I wish we would protest more, man. If we protested and gathered and united like the left did, bruh, we'd be so united and so powerful as a country. But we don't. You know, we might share opinions and things of that nature and points of view, but we'll literally just sit here and because we believe in keeping peace, we just keep the peace. Like they don't want to do anything more than just sit back and watch. Like, no, you can't sit back and watch. You have to you have to stand up, you have to fight, or you'll lose your nation. You'll lose this country, you'll lose your freedom, you're going to lose Europe, right? Just as the Chinese men and women don't have no freedom and rights over there. North Korea have no freedoms, have no rights. Man, fucking Cuba and however many other countries out there, Russia, like no, I don't want that for America. I don't believe it will happen. But it is scary that if something like that is happening to an allied nation, a nation I would expect more advanced and more not just civilized, but like I said, the Catholic religion was completely created in that nation. You would think they were a little more closer to the will of God and what God would think is okay for a nation. Aren't you guys free over there? I'm starting to doubt it. So yeah, anyway. The world's crazy. Crazy things are happening. It's showing me that the end times are near. Who knows? That's what it's looking like. Anyway, like I said, God forbid it comes anytime soon. God's perception of time and ours, they're not the same. What we think is soon, it could be hundreds of years for God. I'm not saying it will be that long, but it could be. God's perception of time is like 100 years is a second to him. He can go 100 years in the future, 1,000 years to the end. He can come back. He can go back to the beginning. He's everywhere. He's at all time. He's in all points of times and all points and every physical place in the universe all at once. People don't understand that. So it's like, when he says, you'll never know the place or the time that I return, right? But he's going to come like a thief in the night. He's just going to show up and you're never going to expect it. There are some people on TikTok predicting the rapture just this week. I think it was supposed to be Tuesday or Wednesday. The rapture was supposed to happen. Oh, what a surprise. It didn't happen because you can't predict. You're not going to get a vision of when it's going to happen. You might get a glimpse of the future, but the date is going to have distortion to it. You could try to figure it out, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. So yes. You know, like I'm so sorry, lost my train of thought for a second. People are trying to, think this is the end of the time, end of the world, or prophecies of it, right? Maybe it might be God forbid, but hey, you better get close with God because it could happen. You never know. You better get your ass in church, get your wife in church, get your kids in church, get close to get close to God, get close to Jesus, reconnect, build a relationship with Him. You will not get into heaven without a relationship with the Lord. People think, oh, I'm a good person. No one cares. I wouldn't let a good person just come into my house if they're a stranger, a good person or not. You're not welcome, right? I would rather somebody I know that's a bad person come into my house than a good person that's a complete stranger coming in my house. Because I don't know who you are. If you're a good person or not, that's unbeknownst to me. How would I know that? So, yeah, I mean, that's just it. That's just the reality of things. So, yeah. Well, like I said, a lot's been going on. The world's been crazy. We have a lot of good things happening in this country. The economy is on the brink of being better than it's ever been. We have trillions of dollars coming in from other countries. We have wars being settled left and right from our administration. We got criminals that used to be high-ranking members and officials in our government in the past, right? Being indicted, getting prosecuted for their crimes. People and corruption being exposed. Oh, man, so many beautiful things to come. And I will be here to give my opinion about all of them. I'm not really reporting. I don't really like to report about the news. I just like to, I like to bring it to you, but I'm not that guy that's like, breaking news, this just happened this instant. But when things happen throughout the week, we're going to discuss them. I'm going to give you my opinion about them. And when I have guests, I'm going to get their opinions about it. And if you have an opinion about any of these topics, please just put a comment on there. You can contact me. You got me, people, you know who I am. You know where to find me. Send me an email, okay? You can send me an email. You can write me on Facebook, on Twitter. You can you can comment on this video on YouTube or on TikTok, wherever you see it, and share your opinion with me, because that's what I'm going to do with you every week, okay? So, my name is Toon'd. It has been fantastic talking to you guys. I hope you all have a fantastic night. Hope you have a fantastic week. Tomorrow is Sunday. I'm going back to church tomorrow for the first time in many years. I'm bringing my kids. I have my kids here. I haven't seen my kids in weeks. And we're all going back to church, and it's going to be a fantastic day tomorrow. So I hope you all have a fantastic day as well. God bless you, your families. God bless America. And have a good night.
2024, we voted for the throne. Now we in the White House, about to turn that house to gold. 2024, almost lost all that we know. Get a red wave.